Hi, Michael White from Aus IDentities here, and I'm back again today to talk to you a little bit more about the profiling system that I've created. For those of you who are already in the know, it's all based on Australian animals and the characteristics of those animals. For those of you who have just come to me for the first time, we're using the dolphin, the eagle, the kangaroo and the wombat as characters to represent the personality traits of the four ancient temperaments. Now, how did I get into this line of work is something that people often ask me. Well, my background, believe it or not, is in hospitality, is in catering. I was running restaurants and working behind bars in my younger days. But as time went by, I became more and more interested in the development of our youth. Young people coming into my restaurant or coming into the hotel where I was based, who were looking for work, who wanted to find themselves work, who wanted to better themselves in life. I found it more and more compelling to take them in, take them under my wing, and to guide them and to nurture them, for those who wanted nurturing, that is, to become better exponents of the trade. So I've become really, really interested in working with young people, so much so that about 10 or 12 years ago I made the decision to give that up and go off and train myself as a youth worker, a youth counsellor. So that's what I have done in the past. And it is my great motivation for the work that I do, is to enhance the world, the life of our young people. Because let's face it, they represent the future. They represent the future of the planet. Let's not hold back from saying it like it is. The future of the planet lies in the hands of our young people. You see, sooner or later, they're going to replace us as heads of state, heads of departments, heads of organisation. So, for them to grow up with an inherent understanding of who they are and the different personality types around them, I see that it can only serve to make them less fearful of or less apprehensive towards other personality types, possibly even other cultures. You see, rather than homogenizing society, which in some respects the governments of the world and the educational system, certainly in the West, seems to want to do, to have a one-size-fits-all type approach, why not celebrate differences? So for me, it's about getting our young people to celebrate themselves and celebrate the experiences of life in their own particular way, but celebrate the differences in the way that they approach life and the way that others approach life. You see, gifts. The gifts that we all bring to the table are different. There's a great book written many years ago, 40 years ago, 50 years ago, called Gifts Differing, and it was a book by Isabel Briggs-Myers just before she died. And in it, she talks about the different gifts that the different types bring to the table. Now, of course, Isabel was famous for developing something called the Myers-Briggs Type Indicator, which is rather like the enhanced or the advanced version of the temperaments. A gentleman called David Keirsey, Dr. David Keirsey, on whose work I based my own very closely, from America, went on record as saying that Isabel, in developing the Myers-Briggs, had actually discovered 4 variations of each of the 4 ancient temperaments. And that's the way I like to look at things. So I move between one system and the other, but I digress. Getting back onto the subject, it's about gifts. The different gifts that we all bring to the table. The eagles bring the gift of vision, and why not? Excellent eyesight of the eagles. You see, this is a certificate here which we give to high school students. It's donated by the Blue Border. Great information on the back. How do we determine type? Well, we've got questionnaires, we've got quizzes, we've got games, we've got cards. We've got a number of different ways of differentiating between people. Okay, when it comes to the wombat, what sort of gifts do they bring to the table? The gift of duty. The gift of responsibility. If you want the work to get done, you need your wombats there. Okay? But all work and no play makes Jack a dull boy, and I'm sure it does similarly to Jill too. Therefore we need the energy, the enthusiasm, the excitement of the kangaroo and the playfulness of the kangaroo. You see, we've got to be able to put the work aside and embrace life sometimes, and the kangaroo teaches us to do that. This one here is the red border, which donates it's a primary school certificate, so therefore the back will be pointers on what you can do to best support this person through the learning process. And of course we've got the dolphin. What gifts do they bring to the table? Well, they bring the gift of conscience, certainly. They're very conscience driven, will make great sacrifices for the things that they believe in. They also teach us that the world or life is potentially more than a three-dimensional experience, and that there's a metaphysical aspect to it as well. And so they're here to remind us that we need to work on our inner life, our inner world, as well as the outer world. And again, I go into that here a little bit on the back. So you see, these four types, they all bring different gifts. So part of the reasons I do what I do, the work with young people, is the opportunity that it allows me to get into the schools and work with these young people to reduce any fear or eliminate the fear of differences. Let's embrace these differences. Let's celebrate these differences. And if in doing so, I can contribute in some small way to a more cooperative experience in later life for those same kids, for those same children, then it's a job well done as far as I'm concerned. So if you want to know more, just go onto our website, www.ausidentities.com.au, and there's a whole lot more material on there. Sign up for our newsletter. It's free, but there are other resources, such as the ones I've just shown you now. They're available for purchase on that website. So I look forward to you paying us a visit, and thank you for your time.